Hey cutie. Man, I'm all over the place. Whew. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. I'm super excited to finally be filming a Pan That Palette update. It's been 4 months. 5 months since you've really seen anything, but the last video that you would have seen is my last Pan That Palette update that I filmed. That was back in May. That's wild. I was editing the footage a couple of days ago, and man, I feel like things have changed so much. First of all, because I have definitely swapped things in and out of the BYOP Pan That Palette that I'm doing. But I'm very much not in the swing of filming things, clearly. But Pan That Palette was originally started by Amber F. I will have her channel linked down below. She pans her palettes to completion. She is incredible. I am doing a rotational style Pan That Palette in my little bedazzled palette case here. This was old packaging from the Colourpop Going Coconuts palette that I bedazzled with some rhinestones, and this is what I've been working on over the past couple months. And I've gotten bored with the shades that have been in this. I've swapped things out, in and out, off camera. I did go back to the original state that the palette was in back in May when you had just seen the update, so I can share what this palette is looking like as of today, August 31st. So I'm gonna roll the clips on where this palette was over the past couple, well, over the initial beginning of the year. For the first 5 months of the year, this is how my palette was kind of looking. Shades have been swapped in and out every month because we do hit goals. We do swap things in once we hit those goals. But this is what the palette in that state is looking like today. I don't have any of my tallies. Those have come and gone. I keep a little sticky note on the back of my thing, but as things kind of were changing out, I ripped those off, I tossed them. I don't know. So I don't have any of the values on what we've done over the past couple months, but I did meet a couple goals because clearly you can see shiny pan inside of them. One of those being this shade up here called Hustler. This is from my Bare Necessities palette. I did end up hitting pan in this shade. I don't know, maybe I'll have the number on the screen somewhere, but I do have to fill my eye bank too, so we can catch up to that then. Next to that, I don't know how many times I've used it in the project. I have 12 on my eye bank. I did look before filming this, so I'm halfway through my goal of using this 25 times. I think the pan's expanded a bit in this one, but I've not been really reaching for it, so there's not really been any changes. Miracle Romance, no pan yet. Clearly, we're still working on that one. It's kind of my like back burner shade. Like, I use it if I use it. I don't pressure myself to use it if I'm like not feeling it. Same thing with Tuxedo Rose. However, this shade I've been using a lot more recently because it's a little bit softer pressed, and it adds a lot of warmth to an eye look, especially when I'm going to the office. I can kind of put this in lightly in my crease, blend it out with other shades, and then it doesn't look like, oh my gosh, you have a neon eyeshadow on, Laura. It just kind of looks like a nice warm tone. The Talk was a really lovely shade that I was wearing to the office quite a bit. I could wear it from inner corner inward to the lid, so I could use it as an all-over eyeshadow as well as an inner corner shade, and as I got tanner, it kind of fit me better as an inner corner shade. Shell Yeah has been in since the beginning. That is the only shade in the original Going Coconuts palette that does not have pan in it. I can't tell you when it's going to happen. I have reached for this shade so much. I believe I've actually already hit 50 uses. I don't know. I didn't look at all my numbers. I'm still nowhere near hitting pan. I think you can see like a ever so slight dip in it, but it really doesn't look like I've done anything, and I use it so much. I do actually have it in the look today. After that, in the bottom row, our first exciting shade is this guy here. Very warm toned shade. That was the shade Complicated from the Bare Necessities palette. It was a softer like sequin shade, so it had some glitter particles in it. I was strategic. I knew I wanted to have myself set up for success. I put some of these softer formulas in. Next to that one, another Bare Necessities. That's the shade Designer Duds. It took a lot. I struggled with this shade actually, because it's a little bit more cool tone mauve-y than I want to reach for right now. it just took a lot of effort to reach for it. Then next to it here, another one from my Bare Necessities palette. That's the shade Crack On. I feel like that's going to be another long haul. Like everything in this row right now is like long haul shade. So it's just going to take a little bit of time to reach anything in the shade Crack On. But I am reaching for it. It looks a lot darker in pan than it appears on the eye. It's kind of a softer brown. I did have a goal to use up a ½ gram of product. And I mean, I'm really happy to say that I did meet that goal. I actually ended up using 0.8 grams, so almost a full gram of product inside of this. Now, I've been reaching for shades, like some of the shades I've left in here as I've swapped things in and out. So some of the gram used up is actually from not necessarily a month's time frame. It's from like the past 4 months time frame, but I'm still happy. I believe I did actually, like I rolled a couple shades in and out from this palette. You'll see like a shade missing. I actually have my next shades that I'm pulling in here. That's already in the palette. But I did hit pan in this one too, Full Moon. I believe that's, yeah, Full Moon. I hit pan in that. Again, it was a shade I kind of threw into this rotation as I was using things on the side. Then I don't think I hit any goals in the Bare Necessities palette, but I did start focusing on an eyeshadow in my Pan That palette, and I don't want to spoil that, so I'm not going to open that up. It's empty now, so I wanted to clean this off and kind of like just chit chat for a second. So I know when I normally do my Pan That palette updates, I try to leave the shade in the same spot, so that way when I do my full montage of the shades, like things are in the same like uniform position, and it's like very easy to see like what has changed. Now, because it's been so long, I kind of want to rearrange how the shades in this look, so you know what things, like what's happening with the shades. So I just went ahead and rearranged things. I didn't change things too much. Unveil to you my new Pan That palette for at least the next month. We'll see. I will say selecting shades into this has been proving very, very challenging because I feel like I've used everything that I truly want to use at this point. And now I kind of want to focus in like meet the goals, you know? I'll actually just hold this up and I'll tell you about the shades. So this guy here, this is actually a Franken eyeshadow. I'm trying to finish an eyeshadow, and I've actually added a couple of my highlighter shades with the eyeshadow to make it a little bit more blinding. This is actually a depotted shade from an e.l.f. quad. This was the Rose Water quad. I think this was the first shade, the first shimmer, the more blinding shimmer, mixed with 2 highlights from Ofra. This has my Blissful highlight and my Pillow Talk highlight. And this has been my day in, day out inner corner eyeshadow color, to the point where I've hit pan, used up so much of it, and then refrankened more product. So this is the rest of that eyeshadow from e.l.f. and I really want to finish it. So my goal is to finish this eyeshadow up. This is going to be in there for as long as that takes. And I'm really excited about it because it's been quite a bit of time since I've finished an eyeshadow. Next to that shade here in the center top is another shade from my Bare Necessities palette. This is the shade Full Expose, and clearly we have a massive pan going in this. I like looking at my montage photos from like the big palettes at the end of the video. I do completely reorganize the palettes and do progress shots of the palettes in their entirety. It's kind of fun to see like the shades that I'm gravitating towards and see pans expand that maybe I wasn't even trying to expand the pan, like this one where I've just kind of been wanting to use this because I have so many cream shades in these palettes right now and I want to finish that. And I've made a lot of progress and I think I can finish it. I definitely not within the month, but I've been making so much progress in that shade. It's a great one to clean up my like blending if it gets a little out of control. It's nice as a brow bone highlight because it is a little bit lighter than my current complexion is. Next to it here is the shade Shell Yeah. That one has been in since the very... I am determined to hit pan in this shade. No matter what, I want to hit pan in that shade. And I will leave it in here. It's not a chore. It really does go with any eyeshadow that I'm wearing. It's going to take till the end of the year, I'm sure. But I want to hit pan in it. This guy here is one shadow that I think I can focus on. And I think I can actually hit pan in September. And really, this is the last month that I want to use this, because after September, I probably won't want to reach for like a neon coral after that. This is a very bright neon kind of coral shade. This is Tuxedo Rose from the Colourpop palette. It's a sequin shade, so there's shimmers in it. So in theory, it really shouldn't be hard to hit pan in it, but it's bright, so it's been hard to get myself to use it. And now that I'm kind of coming back and able to talk to you and focus in on my stuff, I'm more incentivized to do something like that. Luna, the next shade here in the very center. I just like how this middle row looks now. It makes more sense to me. Luna, I've used 12 times per my eye bank. I am halfway to my 25 use goal. It's just taking forever. I know the pan has expanded in this, but it's just taking forever. But this is one of my favorite kinds of eyeshadows. It's just so pretty. I love that kind of shade, but I've been struggling reaching for it for whatever reason. The shade next to it here, Miracle Romance. It's a sheer formula, very densely packed, so not a lot of product picks up on the brush, which means one of two things. One, I either really can like scrub into this and put it on my eyes and get payoff. I can dip in multiple times to get payoff, or it's just soft, so it's going to take a little bit of time. It works really well with this shade. I haven't been reaching for this shade, so of course I haven't been reaching for this shade. It's not purple season for me. This I'm not worried about, because as we approach like October in my head, I can wear purples and it looks really pretty. November also, and like as we get to the cooler months, I'm not too worried about not reaching for this one. So I think I can hit pan before the end of the year. That might just be one that's in till the end of the year kind of thing. This guy's a brand new one in the rotation though. This is from the Bare Necessities. This is the shade Hot Gossip. It's one of the first in like the third row, I think. A mid-tone, warmer brown shade. And it's soft, it's blendable, it's buildable. It's kind of like an in-between formula between the like really soft like sequin formula and like a super dense formula like Shell. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of those, so it's not super densely pressed. It feels very velvety when I swipe into it. Here is another one that's brand new in the rotation. This is the shade Reveal Revel from the Bare Necessities palette. Again, that is the bottom row, the fourth shade. So the warm toned, it's technically metallic, but it's kind of like a not super impactful metallic. I like these shades on the lower lash line, or I will use this and then layer other like more blinding eyeshadows on top of it that maybe have a little bit more of a shift like this. I've also been into, when I go to the office, kind of doing something like this all over the closest part of my mobile lid and then blending up my shades like just a daytime smoky eye. It's just very light and not dramatic, just kind of blending shades onto each other. So really my goal is to hit pan in the shade Tuxedo Rose. That's really my only goal that I want to do for this month. I want to hit pan in this guy. Maybe if I can try to get like my focus in there. I don't think I'm going to hit pan in this though. That's like a 2 or 3 monther. So I feel like this is going to be my rotation for the end of the year minus this shade. And this shade. These two shades I think I can roll out within like the month or two. Tuxedo Rose, no matter what, after September, I'm rolling it out. I'm not going to be interested in using this shade after September. This shade, I just need to focus on it. So all in all, this is where we are for my Pan That palette for September. This is where we're starting September with. I'm excited to use this. This is like my workhorse palette. Like I've said, I fluctuate through all of my other palettes, but focus in on at least the mattes in this. Doing something like this where it's a little bit heavier in the matte realm and like an inner corner shade really does let me have a lot more flexibility with the other palettes in my collection. And I am still enjoying reaching for my BYOP Pan That palette. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me through my hiatus and coming back. If you are, you guys are truly the real ones. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.